Alright, so first you're going to need a roll of film that you shot, and you're going to need to get the film out. So there's a few ways to do this. One is to pop the top or the bottom off and then expose the roll. Not really my favorite way. Another way is to put an old piece of film in here, lick it, and kind of put it in and then spin this spindle until it catches and rolls it on its own, and slowly pull it out, exposing the leader. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll show you the next step. Alright, that was actually the easiest I've ever done it before. So once this leader is exposed, you can pull it out slightly until you get that part. I'm going to pull it out a little bit more, and then you're going to cut this, and then in the dark you're going to load it into this next thing I'm about to show you. So next, in the dark, or in a dark bag, we're going to load the film onto the spindle, and then we're going to put it into this tank. This is called a Patterson tank. So this is the tank that is going to basically replace a dark room. So once we load the film onto this roll, we're going to stick it in here, and then we're going to pretty much heat up the chemicals, mix the chemicals, and develop all in here. Stay tuned. Alright, now there's a few ways to do the next step. Some people have these really fancy thermometers that like regulate the temperature of the water. I got these meat thermometers, one's that, and then this one's digital. This one's probably the better one. Instant read, digital. Alright, so we're going to fill up this 8-quart tub with extremely hot water, and basically just let these two chemicals need to be 102 degrees. So we're going to fill this up with about 120 degree water till these get to 102, and then at that point we're going to develop the film. Alright, so a few mistakes I made myself that I'm going to share with you so you don't do the same thing. This bottle right here is filtered water. So before you develop and fix, develop is the red, fix is the black, you're supposed to rinse or really get the film ready for this high heat. So I'm using filtered water instead of tap water, because the tap water before the film is developed can actually ruin the film, which I found out the hard way. So use do not use tap, use filtered or distilled water to pre-soak your film. Pro tip. So it's pretty simple. We're going to do a minute of soaking of filtered water, and then 3.5 minutes of the developer at 102 degrees Fahrenheit, and then 8 minutes of the Blix, which will be 8 minutes, and it can be between 95 degrees and 105 degrees. The only thing that really is temperature sensitive is the developer. And then we rinse and then final stabilize with a stabilizer that's going to be at room temperature. It's over there behind me. That's going to be for a minute. So we're looking at 15 minutes total around of development time for the film. So we got the temperature climbing in the filtered water. That is going to be our soaker, our pre-soak for a minute long, like I said before. And then developer, this needs to be at 102. So for right now, I'm leaving this meat thermometer in till it gets to around 100, and then I'm going to swap for this thermometer, which is a little bit more precise, when we're ready to dump that in and develop the film. Alright, so we're almost there with the water, but the developer still needs a little bit. We got to make sure that that's at 102 degrees, otherwise it will not develop correctly. Alright, so the water is ready, but the developer is still not there, but we're going to go ahead and pour the water in anyway and hope that in a minute this goes up to 102 degrees. We'll see what happens. Alright, so I poured the developer in, and now basically for 3.5 minutes, every 30 seconds, I'm going to flip this over 4 times. Also, we're placing the tank back into the water to keep it hot, because last time I did it, I didn't do that, and it got colder over time, and it didn't develop some of the roll of film. It developed some of the film, and it was just a mess. So keep it temperature. After about 15 minutes of development, this is what your negatives should look like. Finally have them the right color. It only took 15 rolls. All right, so I don't know if any of you saw, but I was having this issue with some of my scans, negatives were coming out green. I'll show you real quick. Like green, super green. I was getting really upset. I thought I was doing something wrong. So I was like on forums and asking people questions and stuff, and I figured out that it was because I was using this red light. when I was loading the film. You're supposed to do it in complete darkness. Or, you know, what people were telling me is that you can use a red light, but clearly that's not the case because I didn't use the red light this time, and these scans are looking like the right color. So I'm super happy about that. Stay tuned for the next process. This is just going to dry. I bought this squeegee tool to wick the water away quicker. We're going to let this dry for like an hour and a half, 2 hours. Show you a way that I use to flatten the images. Like I said earlier, I am not an expert at this. I pretty much have no idea what I'm doing, and I'm figuring out as I go. But I just wanted to share this experience with you guys and hopefully inspire you to shoot film and develop your own, because it's a really fun process. It's just really fun. So yeah, gonna let it dry, flatten it, and then we're gonna try to scan it today, hopefully to show you some images from the day. See you later. Alright, so it's been about 50 minutes. I know that I said an hour, hour and a half, but using the squeegee really dries the film quickly. So as you can see, there's no water spots or anything, and it's completely... Alright, so with the film hanging from the top, we're going to cut from the bottom so it can hang for the rest, because there's 36, sometimes there's 37 slides. This roll of film, I got 37. But yeah, so we're going to cut 6 out. And then we're going to do a 4-3 split at the end to factor in the single left out slide. Before we put it into the book to flatten, we are going to use some rubbing alcohol to clean off any residue. As you see, there's some residue there before we put it away.